Hey everyone, Matt and Eric here. We're going to talk about the last Night's Lost, The End. It was the series finale.
Yep.
Whether you loved it or you hated it or you were somewhere in the middle, you're going to be talking about it, and that's what we're here to do. Eric, what'd you think?
I loved it, and I knew going in it probably wasn't going to be much of an episode answering questions. In general, this season hasn't felt like that. I was very happy with the story it told about the characters, where they ended up emotionally, and I think it accomplished what it was trying to do, which was just make us feel something about these people we spent 6 years with, get a sense of closure on their relationships with each other. I know that some people are, definitely annoyed about the fact that they didn't give us more definitive answers on the mythology, but for me, it just worked so well, I was okay with that.
Yeah, it was an emotional cleansing for me. I think a lot of the episode had to do with the viewers letting go as much as it was for the characters letting go, and I think that seeing them reunited in this this afterlife world was really emotional. It hit you one right after the other. And I think that it was also about unraveling the tragedy. It was about being okay with the lives that they had, some of them worse than others, some of them much worse than others.
Yeah.
And coming to terms and letting go of all that pain and all the loves that they lost. And just knowing that in the real world, Jack did not wind up with Kate, Sawyer did not wind up with Juliet, and they, went on with, Kate and Sawyer at least went on with their lives, and who knows what happened. But in this world, they were able to find each other once again.
Yeah, and meanwhile, a lot happened on the island. I think it delivered on that this is a big finale episode thing. We got the final confrontation.
Lots of action.
Yeah, lots of action. Jack and the Man in Black.
Jack's power punch.
Yeah, the amazing leap off the cliff when they went to commercial, which we were cheering. And that final fight, getting, to see the Man in Black actually killed. I think it really delivered on all those things it needed to sort of hit those beats along the way and give you those, cheering moments before, going into definitely the more emotional content, which was happening. And what we've been calling the Flash Sideways, and now we know is not a Flash Sideways at all.
Yeah, and going back and looking back at the premiere episode and thinking, why were we thinking that? Who was the first person to call it Flash Sideways?
Yeah.
Where'd that come from? We saw the island at the bottom of the ocean. We heard Juliet say it worked when she was talking to Sawyer when she was dying, and we assumed that meant something about the hydrogen bomb.
Yeah.
Because she was peering to the other side of the alternate reality. Desmond even traveling there through that electromagnetic sort of experiment. It turns out it worked, though, was just the candy machine.
Yeah.
So it had nothing to do with the hydrogen bomb or whether or not it created this utopian society or not. But I also, back on the island, there was a swerve.
Yeah.
Jack, we were wondering, since Jack took over the Jacob helm in the penultimate episode, there was room for someone else to possibly even take over, and would Jack die? And it turned out that was the case.
Yeah, and having it be Hurley, who's ultimately the real new Jacob, I thought was a great move. Took this character that we all love, very sweet character, and gave him this position of power. And I really like what they were saying about, he's not going to run things the way Jacob did.
Yeah.
And a big
Peach party.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And a big deal, of course, is him taking on Ben as his number 2. Ben did get redemption at the end. He did not try to kill them all after he killed Wilmore last week. And not only that, but it was obviously a huge moment for Ben when Hurley says to him, will you help me? Because Jacob, Jacob never even showed himself to Ben, and Ben always felt used by Jacob, right away, and Ben can tell that Hurley's not going to be like that.
And and we know now from this new reality, it's not a Flash Sideways or whatever was this afterlife, could have taken place hundreds of years later,
thousands of years later, yeah.
And apparently things went pretty well between the Hurley-Ben working relationship, because he's like, you were a great number 1, you were a great number 2.
Yeah.
Now there's the spin-off we want to see.
Yeah, along with Richard Alpert, Man About Modern Day Society.
And who survived. Lapidus alive, got his come on Frank, fly in the plane moment. Miles lived, Richard, Sawyer and Kate. So yeah, what's Richard going to do with the rest of his life, coming out to the modern society with machines and such.
Yeah.
Email and fancy rock and roll music.
He's been off the island. He recruited Juliet. But yeah, meanwhile, throughout the episode, we kept seeing these reunions in the Flash Sideways. We got a preview of it when Hurley and Libby, a few episodes, were reunited. Here it happened a lot, and I think most of those worked great.
These were the big ones, though.
Yeah.
These were the ones where we cried like little girls who stand their knee and drop their ice cream, and we're not ashamed about it.
Not 100%. I think most people will agree. Saeed and Shannon.
Again, we were making a joke about Shannon being the one that he really loved early on when he made that deal that he could win back the one he loved. And it turns out that was actually, I guess, the one he loved.
Yeah, that one I don't think is as easy to swallow, just because I don't think the audience ever really bought into that relationship. But the rest of them, Sun and Jin, when they see the baby, of course, Sawyer and Juliet, a couple that we all loved so much last season. These were great moments, earned moments. They meant a lot.
Jack and his father.
Yeah. And that was great too. It wasn't always a romantic relationship. The fact that for Kate, it was delivering Aaron, jokes about Claire's anatomy aside, it's obvious, look, Aaron is her son, is Kate's son, and she raised him for years, feels this mother, feeling to him. So the fact that that would wake her up, I thought was great. And yeah, throughout the episode, all these moments, like Matt joked about, they were hitting us. We were in a room of people who were all, sniffing and grabbing for tissue.
Also, that ending, the juxtaposition between the church and sort of everyone coming together with Jack walking through the jungle, slowly dying, back to the spot where he woke up in the pilot.
I thought that was beautiful. I mean, I think we could sort of all see it coming as he stumbled out there, that they might do that, and end with him closing his eye. But I mean, A, it was just beautifully done, and B, it was, look, when he lies down and Vincent runs up, I think that's when a lot of people we were mentioning were crying. That's when everyone sort of opened up the floodgates. And it was a really sweet moment because Jack, who's gone through hell, never been a very happy character, he smiles at the end, he smiles seeing Vincent, he smiles looking up, seeing that plane escaping. And so, yeah, it ends on a sad note because Jack is dying, but at the same time, not only are we seeing sort of the afterlife, but we're getting the idea that Jack has reached the closure he needs.
Beautiful symmetry.
Yeah.
Job well done for Jack. He's content, finally, after all these years. We want to know what you guys thought, of course. Send your feedback to IGNTV@IGN.com.
Yeah, I'd like to
Hello, Phil.
I'd like you guys to know what I thought about the finale, and I thought it was.
Yeah,
I thought it was
we
a little
figured you might want to chime in.
The show is all about mysteries, right? It's about mysteries that these characters
well,
care about, and the show didn't really answer any of them. I mean, for starters, we didn't get. Spend so much time talking about that, I'm not going to reveal why it happened. And also, who's Eloise Hawking? She played Time Cop throughout the entire series, and she... What?
Thank you.
For touching you?
I only hope that someday someone does for you what you just did for us.
But I want to know who was dropping the Dharma drops. Who was making those airlifts? Just magical random pilot just flew in?
We'll see at the concert.
Okay, I guess I should get ready, but we need to finish talking about this.